The sun bled into the Arizona desert 3 years before Samuel Crawford learned what mercy cost. He was 22 then, rifle trembling in hands that had never killed, watching his father lead 30 cavalrymen toward an Apache camp that flew white cloth from every lodgepole. Captain Jonathan Crawford sat his horse like judgment itself, brass buttons catching the dawn, and when young Sam tried to speak, the protest died in his throat. "They are peaceful, father." The words stayed locked behind his teeth. The captain's voice carried over the ridge. "No such thing as a peaceful Indian, boy. You remember that when they're cutting your throat." Sam watched the first shots tear through canvas and flesh. Women scattered like startled birds. A child's scream rose and fell beneath the crack of rifles. His finger rested on the trigger, but would not pull. Around him, men who had laughed over coffee an hour before now, reloaded with mechanical precision, faces empty of everything but duty. A young Apache warrior burst from a lodge, trying to shield a woman and small boy behind him. The captain's pistol barked twice. The warrior fell. The woman threw herself over the child. More shots. Both went down. Sam turned away and vomited into the red dust. When the smoke cleared, 37 Apache lay dead. None had fired a weapon. The white flag still hung from the central pole, unstained by gunpowder, marked only by blood spray. That night, Sam packed his horse and rode away from the cavalry. His father's last words followed him into darkness. "You are no son of mine, coward." The present found Sam Crawford alone in a barn that smelled of hay and horse sweat, Winchester rifle balanced across his palms. April heat pressed through the roof slats. Dust motes swirled in lamplight. Then came the rustle that did not belong to wind or mice. He moved without sound toward the feed room. Two figures crouched over an open sack of cornmeal, hands scooping the grain into cloth bags. Tall, broad-shouldered, bronze skin streaked with trail dust, black hair falling past their shoulders in tangles marked by burrs and dried blood. The rifle came up smooth. 10 years of practice made the motion effortless. His finger found the trigger. The lamplight caught their faces. Not fear, just exhaustion worn into bone. The older woman turned, placing herself between the rifle and her companion. Her eyes held his without pleading. Rope burns circled both wrists, raw and weeping. A gash across her shoulder had been tied with dirty cloth. The younger woman behind her bore similar wounds, plus dark bruises ringing her throat. Sam's hand tightened. The Apache. His father's voice echoed in memory. "Animals, savages, shoot first." But he saw the slight sway of exhaustion in the older woman's stance, the way the younger one's hands shook as she clutched the cornmeal bag, the desperate hunger that had driven them to risk a white man's barn. The massacre flashed behind his eyes. The white flag, the screaming, his father's cold satisfaction. His finger moved off the trigger. "If you need anything, take it and then leave." The words came out rough. The older woman's eyes widened fractionally. Behind her, the younger one released a breath that sounded like a chum swallowed. They took 2 handfuls of cornmeal, a few potatoes, nothing more. No words of thanks, no eye contact beyond that first measuring look. As they slipped into the night, the younger one paused at the barn door. She turned, and for 3 heartbeats their eyes met. The look carried weight he could not name. Gratitude, perhaps, or the desperate need to remember the face of a white man who had chosen not to shoot. Then they were gone, leaving only boot prints in the dust and the ghost of their presence. Sam stood alone in the lamplight, rifle lowering to his side. His heart hammered against ribs that suddenly felt too tight. Every instinct his father had tried to beat into him screamed that he had made a mistake. "You never let them go. They come back with warriors. They burn you out." But another voice, quieter, spoke beneath the learned hate. "You just saved 2 lives. Maybe that counts for something." The barn door creaked in the night breeze. Sam extinguished the lamp and walked back to a house where no one waited. Where no one had waited for 2 years, not since his father died, choking on his own lungs, cursing his coward son with his final breath. Sleep came in fragments that night, broken by images of rope burns and exhausted eyes. When dawn finally grayed the windows, Sam rose with a decision he could not explain. He filled a burlap sack with cornmeal, salt, dried beef, added a wool blanket, carried it to the fence post at the property's edge, and left it there, visible from the hills. 3 days passed. The sack vanished. On the fourth morning, he found 2 dried fish on his porch, cleaned and wrapped in leaves. A bundle of tobacco tied with leather cord. The faint scent of smoke lingered. Sam smiled for the first time in months. He understood. The Apache had said thank you in their language of silence and gifts. He left more supplies. They disappeared. More appeared in their place. A week became 2. He began to notice signs. Barefoot prints near his well, the size suggesting a woman's foot. A strand of black hair caught on the barbed fence. The horse stall swept clean one morning when he knew he had left it scattered with straw. Firewood stacked with geometric precision he had not bothered to achieve. They were helping him, watching, waiting to see what kind of man he truly was. On the 15th night, Sam sat on his porch with coffee gone cold in his cup. The hills rose black against stars. 2 silhouettes appeared on the nearest ridge, visible only because he had learned to look for them. He raised his hand in a slow wave. They stood motionless for a long minute. Then the taller figure lifted one arm in response. Both vanished into darkness. The next morning brought a skinned rabbit, ready for the pot. The pattern continued another week. Anonymous gifts, silent acknowledgement. A conversation conducted in objects in absence. Sam found himself waking earlier, working with a purpose that had been missing. The ranch had been merely survival before. Now it felt like something more, like proof that he could be different from his father. That mercy had value beyond weakness. On the 21st evening, as he repaired a barn door hinge, they walked into his yard. No hiding this time. The older woman in front, hand resting on the knife at her belt, not threatening but ready. The younger one half a step behind, watchful. In daylight, he could see them clearly. The older woman stood nearly 6 feet tall, muscles defined beneath sun-darkened skin. A scar ran from her left shoulder down her back, visible where her deerskin shirt had torn. Her face carried the lines of someone who had survived things that would have broken weaker souls. Perhaps 30 years, though hardship made ages difficult to read. The younger woman was taller still, but slender, built for speed rather than power. Her eyes held a gentleness the older woman had lost or buried. Mid-20s at most, she moved with the unconscious grace of someone comfortable in her body, despite the obvious recent trauma. The older woman spoke first, English broken but understandable. "You not shoot. Why?" Sam set down his tools, kept his hands visible and empty. "Didn't need to. White men always shoot." He met her eyes without flinching. "I'm not like other white men." She studied him with an intensity that felt like being weighed on scales he could not see. Finally, a slight nod. "We come to work, pay debt." The words came out firm, not asking permission, but stating intention. Sam considered. 2 extra hands would help. The ranch had grown beyond what one man could manage alone. But that was not why he would agree. "No debt. But I could use help. I pay fair wages. Food, shelter if you want. Leave any time. Your choice." The younger woman spoke then, her English better, accent less pronounced. "Why you help us?" "You are white. We are Apache." Sam thought of the massacre, of his father's contempt, of 2 years living with guilt that had no outlet. "Because it's right, that's all that matters." They exchanged a glance, some communication passing between them that needed no words. The older woman stepped forward and extended her hand. "We work, but we leave if trouble comes." Sam took her hand. Her grip was strong, calloused, the hand of someone who had worked and fought in equal measure. When their skin touched, something electric passed between them. Recognition, perhaps. Or simply 2 people who had both learned that mercy was rarer than it should be. Fair enough. That evening they sat around a fire in the yard. Sam cooked beef stew in a pot that had not fed more than one person in years. The younger woman, who introduced herself as Ayana, added herbs from a pouch that transformed the simple meal into something complex and good. The older woman gave her name as Dakota. She ate in silence, eyes constantly scanning the darkness beyond the firelight. Ayana spoke more freely, asking questions about the ranch, the town, the land. Sam answered honestly. Yes, most white folks would not approve of him sheltering Apache women. No, he did not care much what they thought. His father had taught him the cost of caring about other men's opinions. The conversation eventually quieted. Flames crackled. Somewhere a coyote called. Ayana's voice softened. Tell him he should know. Dakota's jaw tightened. Know what? About why we run. About what we leave behind. The older woman stared into the fire for a long minute. When she finally spoke, the words came slow, dragged from some deep place. I had husband. Maska. Good man. Strong. Kind. We marry when I am 20. 1 year later, son born. Kayla. Beautiful boy. Black hair. Always laughing. She paused, swallowing hard. 5 years we have together. Good years. Happy. Sam waited, knowing what came next would be bad. 3 years ago, early morning, cavalry come. We have white flag, peace sign. They come anyway. Captain leading them. Young. Angry face. Sam's chest tightened. Mosca fight to protect women, children. He killed 2 soldiers before they shoot him. I watch him die. Then the Kelly, he run to me. Bullet hit him. Accident maybe, but he die in my arms. 3 years old. Her hand moved to her shoulder, touching the scar. Bullet hit me here, I fall. They think I am dead. I am not. I live. But my family, they are gone. The fire blurred. Sam's vision swam. The details matched. The timing matched. He forced the question through a throat gone tight. What was the captain's name? Dakota's eyes lifted, burning with old rage. Crawford. Captain Jonathan Crawford. The world tilted. Sam stood abruptly, chair scraping back. His lungs would not fill. The night pressed in from all sides. That was my father. Silence fell like a physical thing. Ayana rose, body tense to flee or fight. Dakota's hand found her knife hilt. Sam raised his hands. Though he deserved whatever came next, I was there. I tried to stop him. He wouldn't listen. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. Dakota moved faster than thought. One moment seated, the next her knife pressed against his throat. Her face inches from his, eyes wild with grief and fury. You watched my family die. Sam did not pull away, did not fight. His voice came out broken. I tried to save them. He stopped me. Your son, I remember him. Little boy with black hair, laughing before the shooting started. I tried to reach him. Your husband fought bravely, killed the men who murdered him. I left the cavalry that night. My father disowned me for it, called me a coward. I've lived with the guilt every day since. The knife trembled against his skin. One push and she could end it. He saw her weighing the decision, saw the struggle between vengeance and something else. You are not him. The words came out quiet, almost wondering. But you carry his blood. Sam met her eyes. I can't change the past, but I can try to make it right. Stay. Let me help you. It's all I can offer. And if you decide to kill me, I won't stop you. I deserve it. The knife stayed pressed to his throat for 3 more heartbeats. 4, 5. Then slowly, so slowly, Dakota lowered it. She stepped back, breathing hard. I will stay. For now. Not for you. For me. I need rest, food, safety. But I do not trust you yet. Sam nodded. I understand. Ayana spoke softly, her voice cutting through the tension. Maybe the spirits brought us here for a reason. Not revenge. Healing. Dakota scoffed but did not argue. She sheathed her knife and returned to the fire, though she sat farther from Sam now. The rest of the evening passed in weighted silence. When they finally retired, Ayana to the small guest room and Dakota to the barn, Sam lay awake staring at ceiling boards. The knife's pressure still ghosted across his throat. He had found the family his father destroyed, and somehow, impossibly, they had found him. Morning brought a rider. Sam was checking the fence line when he heard hooves and turned to see an older man approaching on a gray gelding, 55 or 60, weathered by sun and experience, with a gray beard and eyes that missed nothing. A marshal's badge caught the light. Sam's hand moved instinctively toward his rifle. The rider stopped 20 feet out, hands visible on the saddle horn. Morning, looking for Samuel Crawford. That's me. The marshal's gaze shifted past him to where Dakota and Ayanna worked near the barn. Interesting company you keep. His tone held curiosity, not judgment. Sam relaxed fractionally. They work for me. Legal. The marshal dismounted with the easy grace of someone who had spent more years in the saddle than on foot. Name's Jake Thornton. Deputy Marshal, mostly retired, but still handles special cases. Tracking a wanted man. Apache renegade named Kuruk. Heard he's after 2 women. Heard they might be here. Sam stepped forward, putting himself between Jake and the barn. They work for me. I said that already. Jake studied him for a long moment. That's so. You know who's after them? I know. And he won't take them. You ready to die for that statement? Sam's jaw set. Yes, sir. Jake nodded slowly, respect flickering across his weathered face. All right then. Mind if I stay a few days? Got business in the area anyway. You're welcome. But they stay. Wasn't planning to take them. Just want to catch Karuk. That evening, after the women had gone to their quarters, Jake and Sam sat on the porch with whiskey between them. The marshal poured 2 careful measures. I knew your father. Sam's hand froze, reaching for his glass. Served with him briefly. Good officer. Hard man. But I saw what happened after that raid you were at. The one with the white flags. Sam's throat closed. I filed a report. Got buried. Politics. Military protects its own, especially officers with connections. Jake's eyes found his in the lamplight. When I heard Crawford's son was sheltering Apache women, I had to see if you were like him. Or different. He paused. Glad to see you're different. Sam found his voice. Doesn't feel like courage. Feels like failure. Jake shook his head. That's how you know it's real courage. The kind that costs you something. Your father taught you to shoot? Yes. He smiled faintly. Only good thing he taught you, I'd wager. Sam took a long drink. You really after Karuk? I am. He's killed 3 white traders, at least 5 Apache who opposed him. Brutal. No honor. Man like that can't be allowed to keep breathing. Why help me then? You don't know me. Jake refilled both glasses. Because it's right. That's all that matters. The words echoed what Sam had told Ayanna. He looked at the older man with new understanding. You going to need help when Karuk comes? I'll stay. Help you prepare. Sam felt something unlock in his chest. For the first time in years, he was not alone in this. Thank you, Jake waved it off. Besides, I could use the company. Gets lonely on the trail. They drank in comfortable silence. 2 men bound by similar choices, similar costs. The next 2 weeks transformed the ranch. Jake brought discipline and experience. He and Sam drilled quick draws and rifle accuracy. They built firing positions, reinforced the barn walls, dug shallow trenches disguised by brush. Dakota taught them Apache fighting techniques, how to move without sound, how to read signs in disturbed dirt or broken twigs. Ayanna prepared medical supplies, her knowledge of healing plants extensive. She gathered yarrow for bleeding, willow bark for pain, made poultices that would fight infection. Sam watched Dakota work and saw past the wounds to the warrior beneath. She moved with lethal grace during practice bouts, her knife appearing and disappearing faster than thought. When she demonstrated tracking, following prints invisible to his eye, he understood how she had survived 3 years in hostile territory. The second week brought deeper conversations. One evening, as they practiced hand-to-hand in the yard, Dakota spoke without prompting. You fight like Apache, quick, smart. Sam blocked her strike, countered with a move she had taught him days before. Learn from watching, from respecting. She swept his legs, dropping him, stood over him with a slight smile. Your father teach you to shoot? The smile faded from Sam's face. Yes. Only good thing he taught me. He rose, dusting off. They circled each other. I hated you when I learned. I know. She struck again. He blocked. Their faces were inches apart. Now I see you are not him. You are Sam, not Crawford's son, just Sam. Something in her eyes had changed. The wall of hate had cracked, revealing something underneath he dared not name. That night, unable to sleep, Sam found himself on the porch again. Dakota sat on the steps, staring at stars. He settled beside her, careful to leave space. I think about them every day. Your husband, your son. I see their faces in dreams. Sometimes I wake up thinking I can still save them. She was quiet for a long time. Mosca would have respected you. He always said, judge a man by what he does when no one watches. You chose right that day, even though it cost you everything. That is honor. Her hand moved, hesitated, then covered his. The contact sent electricity up his arm. Both froze. Neither pulled away. Jake's voice from inside the house broke the moment. Sam, need you to look at this map. Dakota withdrew her hand, stood. But as she passed him, her fingers brushed his shoulder. That brief touch kept him awake until dawn. The third week brought a visitor. A young Apache boy, perhaps 12, rode up on a pony too large for him. Terror marked every line of his body. Dakota spoke to him in rapid Apache. The boy answered, words tumbling over each other. When he finished, Dakota's face had gone hard. She translated. Kurok sends message. He demands I surrender. Come back and marry him, or everyone here dies. We have 3 days. Blood moon rises. Then he comes. The boy added more. Ayana's face paled as she listened. What else? Dakota's jaw clenched. Kurok killed 2 elders who opposed him. The chieftain is dying, powerless. Kurok gathers warriors. The boy says Kurok is mad with rage. He will kill everyone. After the boy left, Sam called them together. How many warriors will he bring? Dakota considered. 10, maybe 15. His most loyal. Jake looked grim. 3 of us, 4 with Ayana. Bad odds. Sam checked his rifle, began counting ammunition. Then we make it count. They spent the remaining days in intense preparation. Jake taught shooting positions, how to reload under fire, which angles gave best coverage. Dakota map lies up on a likely approach routes based on Apache tactics. They set tripwires at key points, prepared fallback positions, cached weapons and ammunition. On the final evening before the blood moon, Sam found himself alone with Dakota near the well. The setting sun painted her skin bronze and gold. She drew water, her movements efficient and strong. If I die tomorrow, she cut him off. You will not die. But if I do, I want you to know something. I've never met anyone like you. Strong, brave, beautiful. I know I have no right to feel this way. Not after what my father did. But I do. And I needed you to know. She set down the bucket, turned to face him fully. Her eyes held depths he could not fathom. When Masca died, I buried my heart. I thought I would never feel again. But you make me feel. I do not know if it is right, but it is real. The space between them closed. Neither could say who moved first. The kiss was hot and fierce, years of loneliness colliding with years of buried pain. His hands found her waist. Hers gripped his shoulders. The kiss deepened, desperate, as if they could pour all their broken pieces into each other and emerge whole. They broke apart, foreheads pressed together, breathing hard. Whatever happens tomorrow, we had this. Sam nodded against her. Jake watched from the barn doorway, a small smile on his weathered face. He turned away, giving them privacy, and spoke to himself. Good. A man should have something to fight for. Dusk fell into night. They gathered on the porch, weapons laid out in careful rows. Sam had his Winchester and father's pistol. Jake brought a repeating rifle and his own sidearm. Dakota had bow, arrows, and 3 knives of varying sizes. Ayana carried a smaller bow and basic knife. The moon rose in the east, blood red and swollen. An omen, a promise, a deadline. Sam looked at each of them in turn. Jake, who had become the father he needed. Ayana, gentle soul in a hard world. Dakota, who had taught him that survival and honor were not opposites. Whatever comes, we face it together. Jake checked his rifle. Been an honor, son. Dakota's hand found Sam's. If we die free. Ayana prayed softly in Apache, words he did not understand but whose meaning was clear. Protection, strength, courage. The night deepened. Stars emerged, cold and distant. From the hills came the first sound of drums. Faint at first, then growing. Rhythmic, relentless. The beat of war and death marching closer. Sam's hand tightened on his rifle. Beside him, Dakota knocked an arrow. Jake took position at the barn's edge. Ayanna retreated to the cellar, ready to tend wounds. The drums grew louder. Then came the torches. A line of fire descending from the dark hills. 15 warriors on horseback, faces painted red and white, eagle feathers catching the torchlight. In front rode a man built like a bear, war club raised high, and even at distance, Sam could feel the rage radiating from him. Kuruk had come to claim what he believed was his. The rider stopped at the fence line. Kuruk's voice boomed across the yard. Dakota, come out! This is your last chance. Come willingly or die with them. Dakota stepped onto the porch. Sam moved to stop her, but she shook her head. She stood tall, shoulders back, every inch a warrior. I will never be yours, Kuruk. I choose freedom. I choose to stay. Kuruk's face twisted with fury even at that distance. Then you choose death, and these white dogs die with you. Attack! The warriors surged forward with a cry that split the night. Sam fired. One warrior fell. Jake fired. Another dropped. Dakota's arrows flew in rapid succession. 2 more warriors tumbled from their horses. But the rest kept coming, a wave of violence and vengeance pouring into the yard. Sam worked the lever on his Winchester, firing, levering, firing again. Brass casings rained around his boots. Smoke burned his eyes. The thunder of hooves mixed with screams and war cries, and the terrible wet sound of metal meeting flesh. 3 warriors broke through, dismounting at a run. Sam swung his rifle like a club, caught one across the jaw. The man went down. Another lunged with a tomahawk. Sam dodged, drew his pistol, fired point blank. The warrior's eyes went wide. He fell. Sam stared at the body. First man he had ever killed. Nausea rose. No time. A 3rd warrior bore down on Dakota's blind side. Sam fired again. The warrior dropped mid-stride. Dakota glanced back. We are even now, Crawford. Call me Sam. She smiled, fierce and wild, in the middle of chaos. From the barn came a cry. Jake staggered, blood streaming from his shoulder where a tomahawk had caught him. He kept firing one-handed until Ayanna ran from the cellar and dragged him inside. I'm fine. Keep fighting. The first wave broke. 5 warriors lay dead or dying. The others fell back, regrouping. Kuruk's rage was palpable even from across the yard. Burn them out! Fire arrows arced through the air. One caught the barn roof, then another. Flames spread hungrily across dry wood. Heat rolled out in waves. Smoke choked the air. They could not stay. Sam helped Jake to his feet. Dakota covered their retreat. Ayanna gathered supplies. All 4 ran for the house as arrows rained around them. One grazed Ayanna's arm. She gasped but kept moving. Inside, Sam barred the door, checked ammunition, running low. Jake slumped against the wall, face pale from blood loss. The wound was deep but not immediately fatal. Ayanna worked on it with steady hands. Flames spread from barn to house roof. Smoke began filtering through cracks. Heat built. Time was running out. Kuruk's voice carried through the walls. Come out, Dakota. Surrender and they live. Fight and everyone burns. Sam checked his remaining bullets. 6. Jake had perhaps a dozen left. Dakota's quiver held 8 arrows. We go out fighting. Jake managed a pained grin. Been an honor, son. Dakota moved close to Sam. If we die free. Sam took her hand. They stood together, facing the door, ready for the last stand. Then came new sounds. Hoofbeats from the east. Many riders. Kuruk's voice rose in confusion. More warriors? But the voice that answered was not one of Kuruk's men. Kuruk, this ends now. Through the smoke, through the flames, through the chaos, rode 10 Apache warriors led by an old man Sam had never seen. The elder's face bore the marks of 60 hard winters. His eyes blazed with authority. Ahiga. Dakota breathed the name like a prayer. The old warrior positioned himself between Kuruk and the burning house. You dare betray your chieftain? Kuruk's voice cracked with outrage. You are not chieftain yet, Kuruk, and you never will be. The elders have spoken. You are banished. Confusion rippled through the warriors. 3 of Kuruk's men rode to join Ahiga. 2 more hesitated, then followed. Kuruk was left with only 5 loyal fighters. Ahiga's voice rang clear. Dakota has the right to choose. She is a widow, not property. The old chieftain's last words were, let her be free. We honor his wish. Kuruk's face purpled with rage. Then I kill her myself. No one denies me. He spurred his horse forward alone. War club raised, reason burned away by obsession. Sam kicked open the door and stepped onto the burning porch. Flames licked at his boots. Smoke stung his eyes. He walked forward to meet Kuruk in the middle of the yard. You want her? Go through me. Kuruk dismounted in one fluid motion. White dog thinks he can fight a warrior? I will crush you. The war club swung. Sam dodged, fired his pistol. The bullet caught Kuruk's shoulder, spinning him. He barely flinched, just kept coming. The club smashed Sam's pistol from his hand, sent it flying into darkness. Hand to hand now. Kuruk was bigger, stronger, driven by mad rage. Sam was faster, trained by Jake and Dakota both. They circled in the firelight, two men fighting for one woman's freedom. Kuruk swung. Sam ducked, drove his fist into the bullet wound. Kuruk grunted, swung backhanded. The club caught Sam's ribs with a crack like breaking branches. Pain exploded through his chest. He went down hard. Kuruk loomed over him, club raised for the killing blow. You die now! An arrow sprouted from Kuruk's leg. He stumbled, roaring. Dakota walked forward from the burning house. Bow raised, another arrow knocked. You want to kill someone? Kill me. I am the reason for all this. Kuruk pulled the arrow from his leg with a wet sound. Blood poured down, but he seemed not to notice. He limped toward her, club raised. Finally, face me. I will take you dead or alive. Dakota lowered her bow, drew her knife. The blade caught firelight, gleaming red as blood. Then come. Prove you are a warrior, or die trying. They met in the center of the yard, knife against club. She danced around his strikes, faster, more skilled. The blade flashed, once, twice, 3 times, each cut precise, bleeding him slowly. This is for Maska, slash across his arm. This is for Kale, slash across his other leg. This is for my freedom, slash across his chest. Kuruk weakened. His swings grew wild, desperate. She ducked under one, drove her knife toward his throat. Could have killed him. Ended it. Instead, she pressed the blade against his skin without cutting. I could kill you, like you killed so many. But I am not like you. I choose life, not death. She pushed him down into the dirt. Go. Leave. Never return. But Kuruk's pride could not accept mercy, could not accept defeat. He lunged from the ground one final time, war club swinging. She stepped aside. He stumbled forward into the burning barn debris. A broken beam caught him through the chest, impaling him. He hung there, eyes wide, blood bubbling from his lips. You could have been Chieftain's wife. His voice was fading. Dakota stood over him without pity. I choose to be a free woman instead. He died with her words in his ears. Ahiga nodded from his horse. It is done. The other warriors acknowledged it. Even an enemy had to respect such courage. They gathered their dead, left Kuruk's body where it lay, the ultimate dishonor. Ahiga rode close to Dakota. You may return to the tribe if you wish. No one will force you to marry. You have proven your strength. Dakota looked at Sam, looked at the burning ranch, looked back at Ahiga. I thank you. But my place is here now. This is my home. Ahiga smiled. Then we respect your choice. You are still Apache, but you are also free. He gave her a token of blessing, a small leather pouch marked with symbols Sam did not recognize. If you need the tribe, we are here. The warriors rode away, taking their dead. Sam and Jake buried Kuruk at sunrise, giving him the honor he had not earned, but which they extended anyway. That was the difference between them. Ayana appeared in the doorway. My betrothed returns from trading soon. We marry next spring. I must go back to my tribe. She embraced Dakota. You have found happiness, sister. I am glad. To Sam, protect her. She has known too much pain. With my life. Ayana departed with Ahiga, leaving 3 people standing in the ruins. Sam with cracked ribs, Jake with a wounded shoulder, Dakota unmarked but exhausted. They looked at what remained. The barn was ash, The house damaged but standing. Fences burned, crops trampled. But the foundation was strong. Hell of a fight. Jake's voice was rough with pain and whiskey. Sam looked at Dakota. Hell of a woman. She smiled, genuine and full of light he had not seen before. Jake stood with effort. You two need to talk. I'll sleep in what's left of the barn. He limped away, leaving them alone under stars that had witnessed everything. Sam spoke first. I almost lost you today. When Karuk had that club raised, I've never been so scared. Not of dying, of losing you. Dakota sat on the porch step. He joined her. I have fought many battles, but today I fought for something new. Not revenge, not survival, for future, for us. The words hung between them, fragile as new growth. I know it's crazy. We barely know each other. But I know enough. You're strong, brave, beautiful. You make me want to be a better man. Stay with me. Build this life together. Not as Apache and White. As Sam and Dakota. She stared at her hands. What if I cannot love again? What if my heart is too broken? Then we heal together. No rush, no pressure. Just stay. Please. Long silence. Coyotes called in the distance. Embers still glowed in the barn's remains. The blood moon had set, replaced by ordinary stars. Yes, I will stay. I will try to love again, because you already make me feel alive. Their second kiss was different from the first, not desperate, gentle, hopeful, the beginning of something rather than the ending. They slept that night in each other's arms, not from desire, but from simple need for comfort. Two wounded souls finding peace in shared breath and warmth. Jake watched from his bedroll in the barn ruins, smiled to himself, and finally let exhaustion claim him. Good kids. Dawn came soft and golden. Sam woke with Dakota's head on his chest, her breathing deep and even. For the first time in years, perhaps ever, he felt something that might be called hope. They had survived. They had chosen each other. And now, in the ashes of violence, they would build something new. Something worth the canvas. Morning sun filtered through smoke-stained windows. Jake cinched his saddlebags with methodical care, each movement practiced over decades of departures. His shoulder wound had closed to pink scar tissue under Ayana's treatments, though the arm would never lift quite as high again. Small price. Sam stood in the yard watching the marshal prepare to leave. 3 weeks of shared labor had forged something deeper than friendship. Jake had filled a hollow space Sam had not known existed until it was occupied. The older man checked his gelding's shoes one final time, then turned to face Sam square. You've become the man your father should have been. The words landed solid. Sam's throat worked, but no sound emerged. Proud of you, son. Jake extended his hand. Sam took it, then pulled the marshal into an embrace that spoke what words could not. When they separated, both men's eyes carried moisture, neither acknowledged. Write me when the baby comes. Sam blinked. How'd you... Old man's not blind. She's got that glow. Month, maybe 6 weeks along. Jake's weathered face creased into a knowing smile. Dakota emerged from the house carrying a cloth bundle. She handed it to Jake without ceremony. Food for travel, dried venison, cornbread, apples. Her voice remained gruff, but her eyes held warmth. Jake accepted the bundle with a small bow. Take care of him. He's softer than he looks. I know, that is why I love him. The admission hung in the morning air, first time she had spoken the word aloud. Sam's chest expanded with something too large to name, and he needs that softness. Don't let the world harden him. Jake swung into the saddle with a grunt. The gelding sidestepped, eager for the trail. The marshal raised one hand in farewell, then turned his mount east. At the ridge he paused, silhouetted against the climbing sun, and waved once more. Then he was gone, dust settling in his wake. It's just us. Sam spoke the words into the sudden quiet. Dakota moved close, her hand finding his. Good. The ranch rebuilt slowly, like bone knitting after a break. Sam and Dakota worked sunrise to sunset, clearing debris, salvaging what could be saved, starting fresh where nothing remained. The new barn rose larger than its predecessor, with proper ventilation and reinforced walls. They expanded the house, adding a second bedroom that neither mentioned aloud, but both understood would not remain empty. Crops went into scorched earth that should not have been fertile, yet somehow green shoots emerged. Dakota sang Apache songs over the planting rows, her voice carrying melodies that predated the ranch, the territory, perhaps the nation itself. Sam learned the words phonetically, his pronunciation making her laugh until she cried. Your tongue is too stiff, like trying to speak through wood. She demonstrated the proper sounds, her mouth shaping vowels he struggled to replicate. He tried again. She shook her head, still smiling. Better. Still terrible, but better. Their days developed rhythm, waked together as first light grayed the windows. Sam would rise first, start coffee, while Dakota emerged wrapped in the quilt they now shared. Breakfast was simple, cornmeal mush or eggs when the hens cooperated, eaten on the porch watching the land wake. Then work. Sam handled heavier construction while Dakota managed the horses, her gift with animals transforming wild Mustangs into reliable mounts within weeks. She moved among them like water, all fluid grace, speaking in low tones that seemed to bypass their fear and speak directly to some deeper trust. A Mexican family from 20 miles south rode over one Saturday. Miguel and Rosa Delgado, their three children ranging from 6 to 14. Miguel had heard about the Apache woman and white rancher, wanted to see for himself if the rumors held truth. We do not judge. Rosa's English carried her native Spanish in its music. Our daughter married a Hopi man last year. Love is love, yes? Dakota poured coffee for the visitors, her movements careful, still learning to trust. The Delgado children stared openly until their mother's sharp word in Spanish redirected their attention. The eldest boy, Carlos, asked if Dakota could teach him to ride Apache style. She considered him with serious eyes, then nodded once. If your parents permit. Miguel grinned, please. Maybe you can teach him some discipline too. The Delgados became irregular visitors, bringing news from the wider territory and accepting Sam and Dakota's union without comment or judgment. Their friendship was a small light in territory that remained largely hostile. Other neighbors maintained distance that made their opinions clear. The general store in town began refusing Sam's business. He rode 15 miles farther to trade with a former Union soldier who had his own reasons for disliking prejudice. Let them rot in their hate. The old soldier, name of Warren, rang up Sam's purchases. You're doing right by her? Sam met his eyes. I'm trying. Then that's all any man can do. 2 months after the battle, Sam woke to find Dakota already gone from their bed. He found her outside, retching into the bushes behind the house. She waved him away when he approached. I am fine, something I ate. But it happened again the next morning, and the next. By the fourth day, realization crept in, cold and certain. That evening, as they sat on the completed porch, Sam worked up courage to ask, Are you sick? Should I ride for a doctor? Dakota stared at the sunset, her profile carved from something harder than stone. Not sick. Pregnant. The word landed like thunder. Sam's heart kicked against his ribs. You're sure? Missed 2 cycles. Morning sickness. My body changing, I am sure. How do you feel about it? She turned to look at him fully, and he saw fear beneath the warrior exterior. Terrified. Last time I carried a child, soldiers killed him before he turned 4. What if I cannot protect this one? What if, her voice broke. Sam pulled her close, felt her shoulders shake with the sobs she had been holding back. We'll protect this baby. Together, nothing will happen, I swear it. How can you promise? You could not save Kale. The words cut deep because they were true. Sam held her tighter. No, I couldn't. But I will die before I let anyone hurt our child. Our child. She repeated the words like testing their weight. You are happy, even though this baby will be half Apache? Sam pulled back to cup her face in both hands. Happy? There aren't words. You've given me everything. A reason to wake up. A reason to be better. And now a child? He pressed his forehead to hers. This baby will be the best of both worlds. Your strength and courage. My stubbornness? She almost smiled. I was going to say determination, but stubbornness works. They sat holding each other as stars emerged. Eventually, Dakota spoke again. What about town? They already hate us. What will they do to a half-breed child? The slur tasted like poison even from her mouth. Sam's jaw set. Then we raise our child to be strong, to be proud. This baby won't know shame, only love. And if the town comes, then we fight, or we leave. Whatever keeps our family safe. Dakota's hand moved to her belly, still flat but carrying their future. I want to stay. This is home now. Then we stay. 3 months into the pregnancy, Dakota had stopped hiding the changes. Her belly swelled with visible life. She glowed with health, her skin luminous, her movements carrying new care for the precious cargo she bore. Sam caught himself watching her with something approaching reverence. She was creating life from her body, transforming food and water and air into a human being. Magic wore many faces. The ranch prospered. Their horse herd numbered 20, with 5 more foals expected in spring. The crops had yielded better than anticipated, filling the barn with stores against winter. They had even hired occasional help from the Delgado boys when heavy work demanded extra hands. Sam had begun to believe they might truly be safe, that the worst was behind them. Then the riders came, 8 men on horseback, led by Jeremiah Stone, whose ranch encompassed nearly 4,000 acres north of Sam's property. Stone was wealthy, connected, and carried the casual cruelty of someone who had never been told no. He sat his black stallion like a king surveying disputed territory. Sam stepped onto the porch, rifle held loose but ready. Dakota emerged behind him, hand resting on her swollen belly. Crawford, Stone's voice carried the drawl of old South Carolina money. We've tolerated your situation. Man's entitled to his peculiarities in private. But bringing a half-breed child into this world? That's too far. Sam's hands tightened on the rifle. This is my land, my wife, my child. You have no say. Stone shifted in his saddle, his men spreading in a loose semicircle. We have every say. We're decent folk building a decent community. Won't have our children growing up near. He gestured at Dakota with visible distaste. That. Dakota stepped forward, her voice cutting across his words. I am Apache. He is white. Our child is both. And our child will be more decent than you. Stone's face flushed red. You got 1 week, Crawford. Send the squaw away or we run you both out. Don't test us. The men turned their horses and rode off, leaving hoof prints in the yard like scars. Sam's rage was a living thing, hot and sharp. His hands shook with the need to act. I won't let them hurt you, or our child. I'll die first. Dakota remained calm, her hand still on her belly. We cannot fight whole town. Maybe we should go. West, California, where no one knows us. The suggestion horrified him. This is our home, our land. I won't be driven out again. But she was right. 1 man, 1 pregnant woman, against a town. The mathematics were brutal. I don't know what to do. For the first time since the battle, Sam felt truly helpless. The next morning brought mail, rare in their isolation. The rider from town tossed the letter without dismounting, spat in the dust and rode on. Sam opened it with trembling hands. Jake's familiar script filled the page. Sam, heard about trouble from a traveler passing through. Stone's a coward and a bully, but he's got connections. I'm calling in favors. Got a U.S. Marshal friend, owes me from the war. He's sending official protection order for you in Dakota. Federal law. Anyone threatens a federal citizen faces federal charges. Should arrive in 3 days. Also, I'm coming with friends, former cavalry brothers who believe in doing right. Hold on, help is coming. Sam read the letter twice, then handed it to Dakota. She scanned it quickly, her English reading skills improving daily. We have 3 days, her hand moved protectively over her belly. Then we make it count. They fortified again, though this time Sam insisted Dakota stay inside, away from heavy work. She argued, but he was immovable. You're carrying our child. I won't risk you. I am not fragile. I know, but humor me. She relented with poor grace, but spent the time preparing supplies, checking weapons, cooking stores of food. If they had to withstand a siege, they would be ready. The Delgados rode over on the 2nd day. Miguel's face was grim. Stone is gathering men, talking about torches and justice. We wanted you to know. Rosa pressed food into Dakota's hands. For the baby, you need strength. Can you help us? Sam hated asking, but desperation made him bold. Miguel's expression turned pained. We have children, Sam. If we stand against Stone, he burns us out too. I am sorry. Sam nodded, understanding even as disappointment settled heavy. Thank you for the warning. After they left, Dakota spoke quietly. They have children to protect. I understand. So do we. Sam's hand covered hers on her belly, feeling the baby kick against his palm. A whole person growing in there, utterly dependent on them for safety. The weight of that responsibility was crushing. Not yet, but soon. She leaned against him. Soon. Day 7 arrived with cruel sunshine. Stone and his men appeared on the eastern ridge at midday, 15 riders strong. Torches already lit despite the daylight. The message was clear. Sam stepped onto the porch alone, rifle in hand. Dakota watched from the window, her bow knocked but hidden. This is private property. Leave now. Stone's laughter carried across the distance. Or what? You'll shoot us all? You're outnumbered, boy. Last chance. Walk away. Sam's voice came out steady despite the fear coiling in his gut. I'm not my father. I don't run. This is my land, my family, my choice, and you'll have to kill me to take it. Stone's hand moved to his pistol. So be it. The sound of hoof beats from the east made everyone turn. Jake appeared first, sitting tall in his saddle despite the healing shoulder. Beside him rode a man wearing a federal marshal's badge, eyes hard as flint beneath his hat. Behind them came 6 more riders, all bearing themselves with military precision. The cavalry brothers had come. Stone, stand down! The federal marshal's voice cracked like a whip. I have a warrant here. Anyone harms Samuel Crawford faces federal charges. Stone's horse sidled nervously. Federal? For him, he's an American citizen on his own land. You're threatening his life. That's my jurisdiction. Jake rode up beside Sam, a smile playing at his weathered mouth. Told you I'd come. Sam's eyes stung. You came. What are friends for? The cavalry brothers fanned out, creating a line between Stone's men and the house. One of them, a grizzled sergeant with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow, called out, We didn't agree with Captain Crawford's methods, but we respect his son. Kid stood up to his old man when it mattered. That's real courage. Another added, We stand with him. Stone's face purpled with impotent rage. This isn't over. The federal marshal urged his horse forward until he was close enough to look Stone in the eye. Yes, it is. I'm stationing a deputy here for 6 months. Anyone touches this family answers to federal government. Now get, before I arrest you for threatening a federal witness. Stone's men were already backing their horses, reading the situation clearly. They were cowboys and hired hands, not killers. Facing federal law was beyond their pay. Stone held out longest, pride warring with sense. Finally, he yanked his reins hard enough to make his stallion rear. You'll regret this, Crawford. He galloped off, his men following. Their torches fell to the dust, smoking and harmless. Sam collapsed onto the porch steps, adrenaline draining away and leaving only shaking exhaustion. Jake dismounted with a grunt and sat beside him. It's over, son. You're safe. The federal marshal introduced himself as William Hayes, Jake's friend from the war. He had brought official papers declaring Sam's ranch under federal protection due to threats against his life. A deputy would arrive within the week to maintain presence. Stone can bluster all he wants, but he knows the law. He won't risk federal prison. Hayes tipped his hat to Dakota, who had emerged from the house. Ma'am, congratulations on the baby. She nodded, still wary of uniforms and authority, but her hand found Sam's shoulder. Thank you for coming. Jake's doing. He's got more favors owed than the bank has dollars. The cavalry brothers stayed for dinner, sharing stories and laughter that filled the house with warmth it had never known. They treated Dakota with respect, asking about Apache customs and listening when she spoke. One of them, a corporal named Daniel, had married a Navajo woman himself. It's not easy, but nothing worth having ever is. His eyes found his wife's memory in the distance. She died 2 years back. Fever. But I got 3 beautiful children who carry both our bloods. They're going to change this territory. Make it better. That night, after the guests had bedded down in the barn and the house was quiet, Sam lay with Dakota in their bed. her belly pressed against his side, the baby active and restless. We made it. His voice was hushed with wonder. We did. She turned to face him, her eyes reflecting starlight through the window. I was so scared. For the baby. For you. Me too. But we have each other. And now we have protection. Real protection. His hand splayed across her belly, feeling movement beneath the skin. Our baby will be safe. Dakota's hand covered his. What should we name him? Him? I know. A mother knows. Sam thought for a long moment. Jonathan. After my father, but a better version. The man he should have been. And his Apache name? You choose. Dakota smiled in the darkness. Naalnish. It means he works hard. He will need strength in this world. Jonathan Naalnish Crawford. Sam tested the name. Perfect. A bridge between worlds. That is what he will be. They lay together in silence, feeling the baby move between them, until sleep claimed them both. The deputy arrived 3 days later, a young man named Thomas Reed with earnest eyes and a determination to do his job well. He set up camp in the barn, made regular rounds of the property, and his presence alone kept trouble at bay. Stone and his men kept their distance, though Sam occasionally saw riders on distant ridges, watching. Let them watch. Federal law was on his side now. 2 months passed in peaceful routine. The baby grew. Dakota's belly swelled until she moved with the careful waddle of late pregnancy. Sam fussed over her constantly, bringing her water, pillows, anything she might need. I am not made of glass. Her exasperation was tempered by affection. I know. Indulge me this once. He had said those words before, and she had the same response. Fine. But when the baby comes, you must be strong. I need you steady. I will be. He hoped it was true. Labor started on a cold November night. Dakota's water broke just after midnight, soaking their bed. Sam shot upright, heart racing. It's time. Her voice was calm, but her hand gripped his with crushing force. Sam sent Deputy Reed riding for Rosa Delgado, the closest woman with midwife experience. Then he paced the yard like a caged animal while Dakota labored inside, her breathing controlled, her cries minimal. Jake had arrived 2 days prior for what he claimed was a routine visit, but Sam suspected was timed deliberately. The old marshal sat on the porch whittling, his presence a steadying anchor. First baby's always the hardest. Could be hours yet. His knife peeled thin curls from a piece of pine. How do you know? Delivered 3 in my time. Out on the trail, no doctor available. You do what needs doing. Rosa arrived within the hour, her experienced hands taking over. She shooed Sam from the bedroom. Men are useless for this. Go. Pace. Pray. Come when I call. Hours crawled past. Dawn grayed the sky. Dakota's cries grew louder, more frequent. Sam wore a path in the dirt, his hands shaking, his mind conjuring every terrible possibility. Jake finally stood and gripped his shoulder. She's strong, strongest woman I've met. She'll make it. So will the baby. How can you know? I can't. But I believe it. You should too. The sun crested the eastern hills, a bird called, then another cry, higher, thinner, unmistakably new. A baby's cry. Sam ran for the house. Rosa met him at the door, her face tired but smiling. It's a barn, healthy and strong. Can I go? Dakota lay propped on pillows, sweat-soaked and exhausted and utterly beautiful. In her arms, a tiny bundle squirmed and wailed. The baby's skin was bronze, his hair black as midnight. But when he opened his eyes, Sam saw his own blue staring back. Perfect blend. Perfect balance. Sam approached on shaking legs. Dakota held out the baby. Your son. He took the infant with trembling hands, terrified of dropping something so small and precious. The baby's crying stopped, replaced by a curious study of this new face. Hello, Jonathan. Sam's voice broke. Hello, Naalnish. Welcome to the world. The baby's hand wrapped around Sam's finger with surprising strength. That tiny grip contained more power than any weapon, any words. This was what mattered. This was what they had fought for. Dakota watched them with tears streaming down her face. He lives. He is here. He is safe. Sam sat beside her on the bed, still holding their son. Our baby, our family. Jake appeared in the doorway, his eyes suspiciously bright. Congratulations, parents. Sam looked up. Want to meet your nephew? Jake's grin split his weathered face. Hell yes. 1 year later, spring painted the ranch in wildflowers and new growth. Jonathan, called Johnny by everyone except his mother, who insisted on proper names, toddled between furniture with determined concentration. His black hair stuck up in all directions. His blue eyes missed nothing. He babbled in a language that combined Apache and English into something uniquely his own. Sam worked the fence line while Dakota, 6 months pregnant with their second child, watched Johnny attempt to catch a butterfly suit. The boy lunged, fell on his bottom, laughed with pure joy, and tried again. He has your stubbornness, Dakota called across the yard, and your courage. Sam called back. She moved to sit on the porch steps, her hand on her belly. This pregnancy felt different, easier somehow, perhaps because fear no longer dominated every moment. They had built something real here, something lasting. The Delgados visited monthly now, their children, playing with Johnny in careful, supervised chaos. Rosa had delivered their first child and would deliver this second. The town had not warmed to them, but neither had it burned them out. Federal presence and Jake's periodic visits kept the peace. Jake arrived that evening, his visits timed to coincide with Johnny's birthday. He brought a carved wooden horse, perfect in miniature, for the birthday boy. Johnny grabbed the toy with delighted squeals, immediately galloping it across the floor while making horse noises. You spoil him. Sam poured coffee. That's what uncles do. They sat on the porch watching the sun set in familiar, comfortable silence. Johnny played at their feet. Dakota hummed an Apache lullaby. The ranch spread around them, productive and peaceful. Sometimes I think about that night. Sam spoke into the gathering dusk. When I didn't shoot. One choice. Changed everything. Jake nodded. Every life's made of moments like that. Doors that open or close based on one decision. You chose right. Dakota shifted Johnny to her lap. Mosca and Kale are not forgotten. But I have lived again, loved again, and I am grateful. Sam's hand found hers. Your first family gave you strength, but we are your forever family. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Yes. Johnny fell asleep in her arms, his small chest rising and falling with the trust of a child who had never known fear. Sam looked at his son, his pregnant wife, his friend, his land. This was legacy, not vengeance or hate passed down through generations, but love, courage, hope. The stars emerged one by one. Somewhere a coyote sang. The baby in Dakota's belly kicked against Sam's hand when he placed it there. Worth every fight, every sacrifice. His voice was quiet, speaking to the night, to his family, to himself. Worth everything. Dakota's answer was equally soft. Yes, worth everything. And in the peaceful darkness of their hard-won home, 3 people sat together under ancient stars, holding their future in their arms.